Hello, welcome back. So this is what we've got so far, and everything, like we said last video, everything right now lives on the same index page. So on this video we're gonna fix that. We're gonna break it into the different pages. So in our project folder we already have the files menu, about, contact, same folder as the index, same level. So this part takes a little discipline. Every page is gonna need the same header, the same nav, and the same footer. So are we going to copy that boilerplate into all three new files? I know that's repetitive, and it is a little. There are tools and approaches later, but for now we are gonna keep it simple like this. So let's do that. This might get a little messy, but I'm just gonna Control A to select all, Control copy, and then in the menu I'm just gonna paste. So now if we go to menu, we see the same page, right? So let's start getting rid of the things we don't want on our menu page. So we keep the head, and on the body we're gonna keep the header. The image we are not gonna, this image we are gonna not have it here. And then the nav bar is still below the header. We're gonna keep it like this for now. And then let's, on the main section, we get rid of this main. We're gonna, and then here's our actual menu, this section with the table. So this is where this closes. So then the next section, what we're known for, sorry, this goes away. And then our daily schedule, that's in another page. And then our form, that definitely does not belong here. And then this wacky find us thing doesn't belong anywhere really. And then footer repeats on every page. So let's see. So now we have our home is still the full thing, and if we go to our menu, there, now we only see our menu table. It is still pretty ugly until we introduce some styling, but we are getting there. So let's go back to our home, and now on our index, now let's delete what we don't need from the index. So we left the header. Well, we're just gonna delete the table section as we, let me see if this, does this work? Looks like it does. So then I just delete this section. So I deleted the menu from the home. And what else? So now let's do the contact, as we already have the form. So what I'm gonna do is take our menu, Control A, Control copy, and on the contact I'm gonna paste. I'm gonna start with the menu this time, so it has some fewer things to crop out. Only this section. So we have our header and then our nav, and then on our main we only have a footer. So let's contact, yeah. So now back to the index, and then this form section, this form, we are gonna cut it, Control X, and inside our main, Control V to paste, and then notice how it's all wonky, so Control S to save and fix the indenting. So now our contact has a little form. So let me just h1 contact us, and then now that we are at it, let's bring this wonky find us, that's not really a find us, Control X, and then in the contact find us, and we could search for our little coffee shop, but since it doesn't exist, I'm gonna go with find us instead of our Google just learn about coffee. This is theoretical, right? Okay, so back to the index, back to the home. How's our home? Our daily schedule and what we're known for, the about us, and then there's also an about us. So let's now move that, at least let's move that. So in the index, we're on the index page, the about us section. So this section, Control X, and then let me open the about, and we don't have a boilerplate. So let me go take another route. Let's go with the contact form. Control A, Control copy, and then on the about, let's Control V. So now we have the about is the contact us, but so we delete the find us section and we delete the form. So we're back on an empty main with just with the footer. So back at the index, now we can bring the header, where's our about? Did I delete it? Did I? Yeah, I cropped it, right? So let me undo, Control C, here it is. So let me select it again. That's why sometimes it's dangerous to cut instead of copy. All right, about, and then after the main, about us. Okay, so where are we now on our home? So our index now has our home has a cozy, the nav, this image kind of like, I don't know if it belongs here, what we're known for in our daily schedule. And the menu now has the ugly menu. Our about has an about us, and the contact has our form. So more or less we are getting somewhere. So on the index, there's a little thing that this, let me just move I'm gonna just move the image. I'm gonna cut the image and put it in the main. maybe for now just after the what we're known for now. Or maybe not. Maybe first the image and then what we're known for after that. But well, what I wanted to do for now is this. Have the, like in the rest of the pages, have just this header, the header 1, header 2 of our header section, and then immediately below that the navigation part. Like, so kind of like this chunk stays the same on every page. And just like the footer is the same in every page at the bottom, right? So then we get building what goes in the main section. So I will start with a bit of styling, and just here in the index, the home, our anchor tab in our home. So right now, the only way to know where we are, well, the content changes, but the nav, since it has no styling, we don't know where we are at. Well, we can read it over here, and of course the content changes, but let's use this to introduce our first, or getting started on some CSS. So let's do that on this second half of the video. So let's start by doing just right here on the same level, let's do a style.css, and first it will not contain anything. So on the index, we're gonna add a key value pair to our anchor tag, and we're gonna add a class, and we're gonna name it like we want, active. This name I chose. It's not pre-built for anything. Because I wanna style this anchor tag differently when this is the active one. Okay, so to tell this index.html to use the CSS sheet, style sheet we placed here on the same folder, we need to add a line on the head. So we, on the head right below the title, no, after this meta, let's keep the title at the bottom of the head. Let's add a link, and it autofills rel with relationship, and the relationship of this link is gonna be precisely a style sheet, which is like the one, and again asks for a hypertext reference, which is the name of the style sheet, so it's style.css. Now this index is linked to our CSS file. So before I forget, I'm gonna Control C to copy, and then on our menu, and then on our contact. I know a lot of copy pasting in this style of HTML, where every link is a file, a separate file. Later on, when we move on to another, we can go about building everything in one page, but looks like many pages. But for that we need JavaScript. That's more advanced. All right, so I copy pasted the link to other pages. So later I don't forget, and I'm wondering why my CSS doesn't work. All right. So now inside my style, we're gonna do some styling. Body, font. Why is it screaming at me? Arial. So look at this. Now my fonts changed, and it changed everywhere because we chose the whole body. So let me delete this. Again, we have the text with those little liney thingies, and now put this back again, and now we got a little bit more modern sans serif. Well, this comma chooses Arial, and if for some reason it has no Arial on your browser, then it will choose Helvetica, and if for some reason it does not, then chooses a generic sans serif, which means without a serif. And the serif is those little tiny things, I think. I don't know. So we were gonna do just the thingy on the menu, but now that we are at it, now let's do something else to the H1s. And notice I am doing what we are modifying, and then the syntax is curly brackets, and then inside here we do whatever key value pairs. So let's add a color. Oops. Color. And then we can do it like naming it like this. And look, it put this, or we can also, yeah, look at this. We can also use a RGB and choose the red, green, and blue. So we can choose our color like this. I guess enter. Or we can do a hex. 5C, that's the red. 3A, that's the green. And 28 blue. So there we have this dark brown, I guess. So this is what we are targeting, and then inside the curly braces are the key value pairs of our styling. So home menu about, we just have one H1. Oh. This contact us is also an H1, so this also changed to that brown. This is the same brown as this. It's changing all the H1s of all the pages. Now for class selectors, because in our index, if we choose A, we are going to modify all the anchor tags, but we just want to modify the one with a class called active. So how do we select that on the CSS? We use a little dot like this, and then active, and then again our curly braces, and then key value pairs. So if it has the active class, we are gonna do this. We are gonna change the font weight to bold, and we are gonna use a some text decoration of let's underline. Well, all of them are underlined, right? So we cannot see the underline for now, so we're gonna have to change the regular anchor tags to not have this underline. But for now we can see that when we are on home now at least is bold, and it's also underlined, but we cannot see it. And why doesn't it work on the menu? Because we have not added the class active to the rest. So let's start doing the copy pasting. Let's copy and then go to our about, paste, and then our contact, paste, and then our menu, paste. So now let me go back to the index. If we menu, oops, now my anchor tag. Now what did I break? Oh, I know. I pasted them all on the first one. Okay, Control X, and this one is the about, so it's here, right? And then now on our contact, it's not here, it's on the contact. Did I do this on the about? Yeah, on the about. And now on the menu, on the menu. Now will it work? So home is the what's it called? Font weight bold. Menu. Okay, now this is bold. Now this is bold. Now, okay, so we've got that active working. So let's fix the underlying on the navs. So let's select, and this is introducing another thing. We cannot do things nav and then a, and then we do the text decoration to none. There we go. So let me margin right, just so they are a bit more separated. Is that nicer or no? Okay, but now we got it working. We chose from the nav the anchor tags that have both, because well, we had an anchor tag in our, where did we have it? In the about? No, in the contact. Yeah, so this is still underlined. This is also an anchor tag, but it's not inside our nav. So this is why we choose to use these two, both of them. But now we have it working. Menu, and then the rest are not underlined. So only when we are at, it's bold and underlined. So just to be redundant or repetitive on what these two mean without a comma here, because having nav and a comma works here, but I don't know. Now it also, because with a comma means this one or this one. These ones or the other ones, right? Without a comma means anchor tags inside a nav bar. Nav A's inside navs. So this is why this one doesn't apply, because this anchor tag is not inside a nav. This anchor tag is inside a paragraph, not a nav. And on our index, these anchor tags are inside a nav. We could have done inside an unordered list also. So I have all the anchor tags directly under the unordered list, and I am not sure this is correct, because for unordered list we need li items. Like, let me do again the wrapping, the emmet wrap command palette here, emmet wrap with li. Is it shorter or longer to do it by hand? I do not. Can I drag this inside here? Apparently. Let me make this bigger. And I don't know if I can command palette emmet this wrap if I use a shortcut. But now what changed? Well, now since they are inside the li, we go back to one on each line. We need to change it on each page, right? And we come back to having dots. And again, with some later CSS, we will fix it. But I think structurally correct is that for every unordered list, we need list items inside. So I guess I'll go with this. So I'll change it on the rest of the pages. You don't have to look at me doing it. So there, I think I have it in the about, contact, index, and menu. So they are all the same now. So while we added the croissant image, I'm gonna cut, just because it felt like kind of like out of place. So it's our head, and then our nav, then a little image of the storefront, and then what we're known for in our schedule. So we're going on for the index, and I'm gonna do the image inside the menu after the table for now. I'm just gonna keep it here for now. So if we go to a menu, we got our still very ugly table, and the image went there. So I'm doing this, building this while we're going, so bear with me. But anyways, I think that will be it for this video, and see you on the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.